Hello, I'm John Bachman. The defense is now presenting its case in the Boston Marathon bombing trial after an emotional end by the prosecution today. Jurors were wiping away tears as they were shown gruesome autopsy photos of 8-year-old Martin Richard, I should say. He was the youngest of the 3 people killed near the finish line. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev showed no emotion as the medical examiner described the young boy's wounds in graphic detail. The defense has acknowledged his role in the bombings, but they contend it was his older brother, Tamerlan, who was the mastermind. And a motive remains unknown at this hour after 2 people tried to ram their SUV through the gates of the NSA headquarters in Fort Meade, Maryland. We now know that an NSA agent was injured and taken to a local hospital. One of the suspects was shot and killed by a guard. Another was seriously wounded. Officials say the 2 men were dressed as women, the 2 men who tried to ram the gate, and may be transgender, but authorities do not believe this is related to terrorism. 2 former federal agents are accused of being Bitcoin bandits. A former special agent with the Secret Service and a former drug enforcement agent are charged with wire fraud and money laundering. They are accused of stealing the Bitcoin digital currency as part of an investigation of the underground drug marketplace known as Silk Road. And Republican lawmakers in Indiana say they will make some clarifications after major backlash against that new religious objections law.
We need to clarify to everyone this law will not be allowed to discriminate against anyone. And so that clarifying language should, we hope, put that to rest.
Well, the law was designed to prohibit state laws that force an individual from following his or her or other religious beliefs of others, but critics say it paved the way for discrimination against gays and lesbians. And now turning our attention to the Middle East, where the situation in Yemen continues to deteriorate. Houthi rebels claim a Saudi airstrike in northern Yemen killed at least 40 people at a refugee camp. Today, dozens of Houthi supporters gathered at the Sana'a University to protest those airstrikes. And in Switzerland, Secretary of State John Kerry has a little more than 25 hours to reach a deal, or a tentative deal anyway, with Iran. Kerry, along with our European counterparts, are trying to reach a deal that would stop Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons while still giving them a pathway for more nuclear energy production. Those talks in Switzerland prevented Kerry from attending today's dedication of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the U.S. Senate. President Obama was the keynote speaker.
What better testament to the life of Ted Kennedy than this place that he left for a new generation of Americans? A monument not to himself, but to what we, the people, have the power to do together.
Well, the Kennedy Institute includes a life-size replica of the Senate chamber, a place Ted Kennedy called home for nearly 5 decades, or at least his work home anyway. Archaeologists in Israel discover a 5,000-year-old brewery. Experts believe the ancient brew was being produced during the early Bronze Age. That's about 35,000 years before the birth of Christ. I'd still like to have one. Happy Monday, everybody. Now up to the Steve Malzberg Show.